Welcome to week 2 of our course on Power BI Developer. In this week's lessons, the dataset we're using comes from the World Bank's databank. To use the Web API approach, let's go to Get Data and select the data source type named Web. This will open a window where we can type in the URL. So I'm going to type the following: https://api.worldbank.org/v2/country/all ? Format equals JSON and per_page equals 500. Then, click OK. You may get asked, at this point, what authentication method you want to use. In our case, the World Bank API is public and free, so we're going to select the option for anonymous authentication. When Power Query opens, our query has been added, and we see a single column and a couple of rows in our data preview area. The first row, which says Record, contains some metadata about the records that were retrieved from the API, but the second row, which says List, is an expandable list of data. If we click on the list keyword, this will convert each list entry into its own row in a new table, and each row says Record. If we click in the empty space on one of these rows, next to the word Record, Power Query is going to give us a preview down in the bottom half, which gives us an idea of what the data looks like. Now, we have to use Power Query to transform the data. Specifically, we're going to do some JSON parsing. This can be done on the ribbon by simply clicking the To Table button that you see in the upper left corner. So we're going to click To Table. It's going to give us this little table where we can select delimiters and how to handle extra columns, but we can just select OK here to use the defaults. Then, we're going to click this little Expand button on the far right side of our column, and this is going to give us a list of all of the attributes. From this list, we are going to select the following attributes: ID, ISO2 code, name, region, capital city, longitude, and latitude. Then, click OK, and watch as Power Query translates the attribute value pairs into a row and column structure. Now, we're not done yet because our region column, as you can see, still says Record on every row, so we need to expand that nested array. So we're going to click the Expand button to the right of that column header, and this time, we're only going to select the column named Value, then click OK, and we can see that the Value column contains our region names. And now let's go and let's just quickly rename that column to Region so that we remember what it is. With that step, we have successfully parsed the JSON data that we received from the World Bank API, and we have produced a format that is suitable for Power BI development. Next, let's change our data types by switching these first several columns to text. Highlighting ID, ISO2 code, name, region, and capital city. Then right-click, change type, and set to text. Then, let's also make sure that our longitude and latitude columns are changed to decimal number data types. Lastly, we need to do a little bit of filtering. If you look closely at the data we received, it's not all just countries. There are some records in here that contain what the World Bank refers to as aggregates. But we don't need these for our analysis. So, let's just right-click on one of these, then go to Text Filters, and select Does Not Equal. This will remove the aggregates from our table, and finally, let's go to the Properties settings here, and let's rename our query as just countries. Now, Let's examine the data for a moment. We have a table with a granularity of 1 row per country, with each row containing one unique country in the world. Now, take a few minutes to use your column profiling features to take a look at each of these columns.